You know, when you think about New York City, it feels like it's always been the five boroughs, right? A single, iconic place. But honestly, that couldn't be further from the truth. The city we know today wasn't born, it was made. It was forged in a bitter political fight. Basically, a forced marriage between fierce rivals who, frankly, couldn't stand each other. This is that story.
So, all right, pop quiz. Take a guess. What year do you think it was? 1776? Maybe sometime after the Civil War? When do you picture the map of Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and Staten Island finally coming together as one?
The answer is 1898. Yeah, really, less than 130 years ago. And the story of how it happened isn't some dry history lesson. It's a full-blown political thriller, packed with massive egos, intense rivalries, and a final vote that came right down to the wire.
To really get why this was such a huge deal, you have to rewind. Before 1898, this area wasn't one unified region, not at all. It was a chaotic patchwork of independent cities, towns, and villages, all fiercely competitive and often at each other's throats.
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the conflict. You had two giants. On one side, the city of New York, basically Manhattan Island, the imperial city, all about money, power, and ambition. And then right across the river, you had the city of Brooklyn, the city of homes and churches, proud, pious, and defiantly independent. They weren't just neighbors, they were rivals in every sense of the word.
And don't for a second think Brooklyn was just some sleepy little suburb. By the 1890s, we're talking over 1 million residents. On its own, Brooklyn was the third largest city in the entire United States. This was a true battle of giants.
And it wasn't just about politics or economics. This was about identity. It was personal. There was this immense, powerful pride in being a Brooklynite. It meant you weren't part of Manhattan's chaos and its corruption. You were something different. And in their eyes, something better.
So, into this world of intense rivalry, someone throws out this absolutely radical idea. What if we just combined them all? What if we took all these competing pieces and forged them into one, single, unstoppable city?
This was the Greater New York Project. It was this audacious plan pushed by visionaries like a guy named Andrew Haswell Green. The idea was simple on paper, but massive in scale. Unite the entire region around the harbor into one giant municipality that could dominate everything.
Now, this wasn't just about ego. There were some powerful forces driving this idea. First, global ambition. The city's boosters wanted to take on London, and they wanted to put the fast-growing upstart Chicago back in its place. Second, it was just pure pragmatism. The whole region was a mess, and desperately needed a unified system for water, for sanitation, for transit. And third, it was about raw power. Consolidate the port, and you create an economic and financial giant that would be absolutely untouchable.
So while Manhattan's leaders were dreaming of an empire, Brooklyn was looking at the exact same plan and seeing an existential threat. The fiercest battle over this whole idea wasn't going to be in some state house. It was for the very soul of Brooklyn.
And the opposition in Brooklyn was loud, and their fears were very real. They were terrified of losing their unique identity, of being completely swallowed by Manhattan's notoriously corrupt political machine, Tammany Hall. They dreaded losing local control, their taxes going up, and just becoming a borough in some faceless megacity. They didn't see progress. They saw what they called the Great Mistake.
And this sentiment from a local paper at the time just perfectly captures the emotion of that moment. I mean, editorials were painting this grim picture. This wasn't a merger, it was an annihilation. Brooklyn, the city they loved, was about to be devoured by the tiger across the river.
So after years of furious debate, it all came down to a public vote in 1894. And just look at this result. Out of almost 130,000 votes cast in Brooklyn, the decision to surrender its independence, to literally cease to exist as a city, was decided by a mere 277 votes. Let that sink in. 277.
That razor-thin victory was all the political momentum they needed. The great mistake for some, the great destiny for others, was now officially in motion. The fight was over.
That single vote was the tipping point. From there, things moved fast. A state commission drafted a new city charter. The governor signed it into law, and then, at the stroke of midnight on January 1st, 1898, the cities of New York and Brooklyn and dozens of other towns and villages officially ceased to exist.
The modern five-borough New York City was born.
And with that single legislative act, this brand new city had a combined population of nearly 3.5 million people.
Instantly, literally overnight, it leapfrogged Paris and vaulted onto the global stage, second in population only to London. The dream of the consolidationists had become an incredible reality.
So why does a political battle from over a century ago still matter so much? Because that single decision, that one vote, defined the New York City that we all know today.
Consolidation wasn't just a line on a map. It created a tax base and a political structure large enough to build massive projects like the subway system. It unified the entire port, cementing its economic power for a century. And of course, it created the very idea of the five boroughs, an identity that still shapes life in the city to this day.
I think the key takeaway here is that New York's greatness was not an accident. It didn't just happen. It was the result of a deliberate, audacious, and brutally fought act of political engineering fueled by sheer, unapologetic ambition.
Which really leaves us with a fascinating question for our time, doesn't it? That act in 1898 created a municipal superpower out of nothing but political will. In our modern, more fragmented world, could we ever muster the vision and the nerve to pull off something that bold ever again?